Hey TONMO, I'm here at CIAC 2025 in Okinawa, Japan.
Yucatan next to them.
All right, here we are. Dr. Aaron Boyd Evans. He is back from Japan just 2 weeks ago or so. We had the Cephalopod International Advisory Council. Every 3 years, there's a conference where scientists, predominantly scientists and students, all get together in an interesting city around the world. And it was in Okinawa. Is that correct?
It was on the island of Okinawa in I think the town was called Ona, and it was in just a little area called Moon Beach. I was fortunate to be able to go and spend a few days, traveling around mainland Japan first and seeing the sights there, which was delightful.
Was that your first time? Was that your first time in Japan?
It was my second time in Japan. I went 10 years ago. CIAC was hosted in Hakodate, Japan, 10 years ago, and so I was there for that. So the island of Okinawa is not relatively close to what we would consider mainland Japan. It's still part of Japan, but it's a good distance south into the ocean. And the difference between Tokyo and Okinawa was really dramatic because I went from, jeans and a sweater and a jacket because it was pouring rain to 28-degree weather with tropical palm trees and beautiful sunsets and white sandy beaches.
Celsius. 28 degrees Celsius is
oh yeah, sorry, I'm in Celsius mode.
Yeah, I'll put the translation down below. I can never remember offhand what the Fahrenheit is, but yes, keep going. It was nice and warm. It was beautiful. Yeah.
It was beautiful, and it was warm and tropical. And yeah, it's a beautiful tropical island with lush green jungles and amazing biodiversity, and very kind of unique culture. And that was an important part of our visit. So the conference started, and the way that the conference is usually broken down is some of us will arrive the weekend beforehand, and we'll have these breakout working groups. And so there's going to be a couple of different topics to choose from, and you can choose which one you want to go to and kind of sit down with a group of people and chat over, recent issues that have been brought up in that particular working group. So I was in one on cryptic biodiversity, which is when two things are different lineages, but just happen to look very similar to each other. Now, coming from a glass squid background, that's really important to me because all of mine look the same.
And we've talked about that before on the podcast about the similarities between all of it's kind of taxonomy related, yeah.
Yeah, it's the closest thing to being taxonomy related. It's kind of a mix of taxonomy, of physiological studies, a little bit of ecology, a little bit of behavior. So a lot of the people in my working group were coming from those different backgrounds. But there was another working group. I believe there was one on genetics. I think there was one within the fisheries sector. There was one on AI and using AI in cephalopod science in the future. So we broke into different topics.
Let me pause you so I can ask about how many people overall went to the conference and how many per working group.
Good question. There were, I think, 190 attendees for the conference, give or take. Each working group had varying amounts. I would say that the working groups were maybe from 20 people to about 40 people.
Nice.
Yeah, I think ours was around 35, 40. We were one of the larger ones. Yeah, so the first 2 days we had various people from our group talk about important advances in that area, and why delving into our chosen working group topic more was going to be important for advancing science. It was a great opportunity, and it was a more informal mini conference, I guess you could say. So there was a longer question and answer period and more discussion, and it felt very much a community exploration on a topic, which was quite fun.
Yeah.
Now, the goal of that, fingers crossed, is that we'll be able to come up with some sort of output to the scientific community. We've discussed what we'd like to investigate from each of our different backgrounds within this topic, and hopefully we'll be able to bring something to the scientific community to advance the area of cryptic biodiversity.
Nice. Now, do I take that to mean that you will continue working offline with your breakout session cohorts?
Yeah. So we've kind of broken down what we'd like to investigate and kind of assign roles to everybody. My role was pretty straightforward. I was the only one that was going to be touching the glass squid, so I'm looking at glass squid. I will say this is not from this conference. This is from many conferences ago. But I remember that we did a working group on deep sea cephalopods. And the first hour of the day was us just all sitting around going, how do we define deep sea? And this, everybody had different opinions of how they thought deep sea should be defined. And so, it's very much a lot of just volleying ideas back and forth, and maybe some arguments and maybe a lot of laughter, and it's like a family getting together for Thanksgiving dinner.
So day one is you spend the whole day on this topic, or okay, and so it's a full day engagement, and
day one is engaging with the topic and having people present different ideas about it, and then day two is kind of assigning roles and thinking about how we could progress this and make it relevant to the scientific community.
All very cool and very great to have a structure and desired outcomes and focus along those lines. Okay. I want to keep going, but another question I have is, did it feel did this feel like work or fun, / pleasure, or a little bit of both?
That's a difficult question, Tony, because when you love something, it doesn't feel like work, does it?
No.
Now, you and I have been discussing, cephalopods and a lot of glass squid over these podcasts over the past couple of months. And this is kind of what I've been doing in the cephalopod community as of late, because I'm not currently working at an institution. Right. But yeah, it felt like work, but it was really enjoyable to be doing that work, because I haven't been able to do it for a while. I don't know if everybody thought that it felt like enjoyable work. And I'm sure, months down the line when I'm busy trying to do my research and write up stuff, it's going to feel like not enjoyable work again. But that part definitely felt like the enjoyable work. The conference itself was 4 days, and then the workshops were 2 days. So I guess 6 in total. So after the workshops, we went to kind of a welcome event, which was the official start of the conference in that Sunday evening, yes, because the conference started Monday morning. And we were hosted in an art gallery. There were drinks. It was lovely. And then we were kind of ushered outside in front of the art gallery, and we had a traditional performance with dancing and singing and drums. And it was a great way for us to kind of understand and feel welcomed into the Okinawa experience. Then we get into the conference Monday morning, bright and early. So as I said, about 190 attendees in a conference room. Now, one thing that this particular conference does different from many other international conferences that I've attended is they only do a single room where everyone speaks, whereas other conferences would have parallel sessions. So you have to choose which room you want to go into because there's always going to be 2 or 3 different talks running at the same time.
Right.
So once the conference starts, we don't have that. This conference just has a single room, and everybody gets to enjoy all of the different topics, which is great. It's a lot of different things that I don't have a background in, that I don't really understand fully, but I can appreciate that other people are working in these areas, and it's really fascinating to hear what they've been working on.
Did you take notes?
I did not. I took a lot of photos, some of which I posted on TONMO. But I took photos of slides because that usually helps to jog my memory of what they were talking about. A lot of other people were taking notes constantly. Now, I will say, you just mentioned TONMOCON. Speaking with people at this conference, Tony, there might be a desire for another TONMOCON. Just letting you know, putting it out there.
I would like to do that. We should do it.
We'll talk offline. We should talk offline about that.
But yeah, I was speaking with some TONMO members that were there, and we were reminiscing about past TONMOCONs, going, it's time. We should do another one.
We should. I don't disagree. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
I have some thoughts. Cool.
So, from the photos that I posted on TONMO, kind of the day-by-day progression of the sessions we were going through, I'm sure you saw just kind of the breadth of topics that were covered.
Yes.
We started off with biodiversity, and I know that we moved into genomics and genetics and brain behavior and cognition and fisheries and ecology. Like it's just such a plethora of new information.
Yeah.
And although and looking at a whole bunch of different animals, although I am a squid background person and will always love my little queer weird squid, I love anything with cuttlefish. Cuttlefish research is so fascinating to me.
They're amazing.
And so many people around the world work with cuttlefish. So anytime there was a cuttlefish talk, I was like, yes.
What was kind of the mix globally of attendees? Were a lot of people from America? Were you the only Canadian, or were there a lot of Canadians?
I was not the only Canadian. I will say that. It's fair to say that whoever the host country is every 3 years, that's going to be the bulk of the attendees.
Yeah.
Because they have the least distance to travel. And this for them would be a domestic conference, so it's easier to get to. Their institution might provide funds to help them. So yes, Japan had probably the biggest demographic there. USA also had a large contingent. New Zealand, Kat brought up a lot of people from her lab, so they had a good presence. Spain there's a Spanish group that comes. There's a group from Brazil, Argentina, kind of that end of South America. They brought a lot of students with them as well. Australia.
There was the announcement about where the next kayak will be in 3 years. Let's get that out of the way right away. I saw that announcement. Go ahead. Where's the next one?
The next kayak is going to be hosted in the Yucatan Peninsula, Mexico.
We are going to Yucatan in Mexico.
So can anyone go to these events? Do you have to? I think I've been invited to go in the past, but yeah, how does that work? Anybody who's interested go to these events?
Yeah, anyone who's interested can go to these events. You should definitely go to these events, Tony. I think you'd find it really enjoyable.
Yeah.
Anyone who wants to attend, as long as they pay the registration fee, which will differ depending on the country hosting. If you pay the registration fee, you can attend.
Cool. Okay. Did you snorkel or dive? Did you get in the water at all? Did you go on a ship? Did you go on a boat?
I did not. That did happen. As part of the conference this year, they offered a couple of field trips for people who wanted to go on them. The people that did go snorkeling and scuba diving, because I talked with them afterwards, said it was one of the best dives that they have been on recently. Amazing biodiversity, beautiful clear waters. They saw octopus. I know they saw octopus. I don't remember if they saw squid or not, but just amazing. The people were coming back with these beautiful photos of sea animals and reefs, and oh yeah, it sounded like an amazing time.
Scuba or snorkel or both?
There was both. People went scuba diving if they had their PADI certification, and those that didn't signed up for a snorkeling trip. And yeah, there were just kind of all along the coast of Okinawa. There's all these little villages set up with dive shops, and it's a huge tourist thing there. Just large groups of people. But they said once they got in the water, it didn't feel like there were large groups of people everywhere. You were just kind of with the group you were with and in your own little beautiful reef world.
That's incredible. That's wild. I think I saw that Austin, our friend Austin, and somebody else are on the advisory board, or like maybe standby on the advisory board for going forward.
Austin got nominated to be a reserve member of the advisory committee.
Very cool.
Which, you know what, with everything that's happening in the world, sometimes people aren't able to attend conferences. So I'm sure that he is going to get his chance to be on that committee helping out, because it's there's always bound to be someone who doesn't show up.
Yeah, that's cool. Austin Harenkamp, of course. Yeah, that's great. Okay. All right. Well, it sounds like that was an amazing trip, fulfilling. I can't, unfortunately, we still don't have like the Spock mind meld thing, because I would like to receive that.
No, right?
I feel like I'm missing out. And so a lot of the slides you showed, having seen those kind of presentations before, you're just getting kind of like all the latest research and discoveries, for one of a better, because this is just constant discoveries, right? Like what you're hearing from these researchers is, we looked into this is our question, or this is our hypothesis, this is what we're trying to figure out about this mysterious species or their behavior. Now we have access to this new technology, or we came up with a novel way to explore the physiology of we found new specimens, whatever, and they just unpack it all for you in great detail, and they showcase the work that they did and what they learned. Where else can you get that kind of information firsthand? The answer is you can't, right? And so that's what makes those events so special and incredible. And then you get to talk with the researchers at a cocktail party or in a boat or whatever, and you're all, each of you are just kind of like tweaking each other's minds a little bit about where you want to take it next. It's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. I said that there was so much information and it's hard to download it all. There was one talk though where it's just so vivid in my mind. I posted a screenshot of it, But the screenshot that I took does not do justice to the talk, the video footage that was shown in the talk. So it was about, I believe it was about cuttlefish using photic light to communicate with each other. And the talk itself was about how, cephalopods colorblind, and yet they're able to do amazing color matching and be able to communicate with each other through how the tone and patterns and texture on their skin changes. And they said, well, instead of looking at these cuttlefish with regular visible light that we saw, we noticed that they had a lot of, I believe they were radiophores or something in their skin, and that would change the angle that the light refracted at. And just the tentacles of these cuttlefish all of a sudden just burst into rainbow color once they changed the lens. And all of these different vibrating, it was just that you could hear the whole audience just gasp all at once.
They applied a different kind of filter, a different lens.
They applied a different kind of filter that went outside of the visible spectrum.
It seems that every time cephalopod researchers get together, there is at least one or two of those kind of revelations or those kind of like incredible reveals. Do you expect that like something like that will turn into a paper? Like are there folks who are sharing like active research that may not be completed yet that they're working toward a publication on? That's happening quite a bit?
So it was a mixture of kind of graduate students presenting their PhD research or their master's research, usually because they were getting close to submitting it as part of their thesis. And then there were researchers who were sharing results of recent studies that they were working on publishing. And there were some said, just let you know, everybody, please don't take photos of this presentation because I'm not done with this research yet, and I want to make sure it's right before I publish it, which totally fair.
Yes.
So
that was going to be another question.
That was when I put my camera down.
yeah. I heard about that one. There was one you got your wrist slapped for, but that's good. That's good hygiene, if you will, for a conference for any presenter to disclose up front, like if
absolutely
this is sensitive or this is not publishable, basically, do not do so. Again, incredible experience you're relaying here. Definitely a lot of FOMO, and but it's nice to be able to get a breakdown directly from you. I appreciate it. I'm sure our viewers do. Anything else you want to share with us about it? Anything else to highlight or underscore?
I think the main takeaway that I took personally from this was the wonderful community. I mean, I didn't go to the last one 3 years ago, so I haven't seen these people in 6 years. And it was so wonderful to be able to reconnect with other members of this scientific community. And all of us talking together about how excited we are to go back to our individual domains and then reconnect again in 3 years and see where things have gotten to. Yeah. So that was my takeaway, having kind of been disconnected from the community for a while, that it kind of reminded me how much I love this community and how important this research is to a group of animals that myself and yourself and the people that are probably watching this are all very passionate about.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's awesome. Good on you
for going, for reconnecting those people. That's the priceless part, along with all the knowledge and learning that you get to do. Very, very cool. Thank you for coming back and sharing it with us. Glad to have you back. I've done a couple of news updates without you. I don't know if you got a chance to see those other podcasts, Octopodcast, but we will do another one at the end of November.
Okay.
Or I
because
guess
there's some news. I've been looking at the headlines.
Aaron, thanks again for joining us. Great updates as usual. Look forward to the next podcast that we'll do together.
Soon.
Welcome back to Canada. And
thank you so much.
Yeah. Until next time. Talk soon.
Until next time, Tony. See you later.